Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Trask Told You. I'm your host, Trask now, and yes, got a little bit of news filled today, and you know what? That might be happening more often because, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like the strike is over. That's a nice thing to say, you know. But yes, we got lots of stuff to talk about today. Whenever you're listening to this, a big thank you to if you are listening to this. I didn't even transition the music. I just stopped it. Unprofessional host. But yeah, we're going to get in that. We're going to talk about the SAG. We're going to talk about Return of Late Night TTY. Yeah, exactly. We just did the X-Men retrospective, and I think I said on Patreon I didn't want to promote because I didn't know for sure how long that would go. That's still in 2 hours, but yeah, that might happen more often. We're just gonna wait until the new year. Same thing like we talk about. We're gonna talk about the strike, but it was like, what content are we doing? Same thing with this. Same we talk about like as you've seen, Weekly Geek hasn't been around. We don't do all those newscasts, so it kind of was like wait and see, and we're still waiting and see, you know, because we'll have to get the official voting, but it looks like it's a go. But yeah, it's a late night. Hopefully in the future I'll be able to promote it. Luckily, or what happened this time, short story, we just had to reschedule some cast. So usually I would have known the Wednesday night, hey, we're good to go, but I didn't know when it was happening, so I didn't want to process. But yes, we are here to talk about a bunch of things. We're talking about the strike. We're going to talk about, let's get rid of that starting soon banner. Where is it? I have no idea where my fucking banners are, but we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Marvel's reaction. The content will flow once again. Yes, it's very, very exciting. I don't know if we'll for sure be doing like Weekly Geek right away again, but at least there was a time where we had the news, Weekly Geek, and Trask Told You, and there was enough news throughout the week to hold that all, and I think that could happen. At least 2 of them, so we'll see, but lots of stuff's going on. But yes, head down below for everything you need to know. Patreon, the links. Patreon, we will be doing a couple after nights soon. We don't know a date yet, but we'll at least either we'll do 1 in November or 2 in December. We're going to make good on our poker because that didn't happen. So we'll do that, and then we're going to make good on, we're going to do a Christmas watch along, so that'll be good. And a big thank you. I'll get to you a little bit because I'm going to talk about the GV movie in a second, but a big thank you to everyone that watched, donated. Our extra live stream raised $1,910. Pretty good. Didn't hit all our goals, but I thank you, especially the way the economy is. Anything we can get, we appreciate. All going towards a good cause. But yeah, so let's talk about some of this news right now. So it happened around, I think it was like 4:30, 4:40, somewhere in there. It was like, oh, looking good and stuff. So I'm going to pull up some details and pull up everything. Oh, even that, the Spider-Verse across beyond the Spider-Verse, whatever the fuck it's called, voice work will continue. All these things are coming out now, being like, oh, this is happening. But I will go back to the very beginning where they had said there was a deal, and it's sounding like the strike is officially ending at 12 a.m. tonight, so midnight tonight. So really, I guess it's 12:01, so I guess PT. So yeah, I think as of right now, it's officially over when I'm recording this because I'm on PST time. It doesn't matter, I guess, if you're in Eastern time, but so I will read everything. I'm going to read a bullet point as usual, you know, discussing film, thank goodness. But the SAG just posted, the strike is over. And yes, it went on for 129 or 120 days. So I'm going to tell you what they have gotten, or hopefully getting, because here's what it is. SAG has accepted a tentative deal. It seems like majority of everything that they wanted, or at least could be in the middle on, they got, so they're going to do that. Friday, they're going to do the official voting, and as we saw with the WGA, it went right through. But just in case, you know, maybe there's a chance that the writers or the actors go, no, this deal sucks, but it's looking really, really good. So here's some of the things that they got or were asked for. So, and we don't know the specifics of them, but here we are. SAG-AFTRA says their new deal is valued at $1 billion, includes, and I will say again, go to SAG-AFTRA's Twitter, their Facebook. I'm sure they got a Facebook. They got the whole statement there, you know, everything in fine detail. But if you want just specific bullet points, that's what we're going to do here. A streaming participation bonus. This is interesting because this was something that they wanted, something like a tariff or something on streaming subscribers, and almost everyone in the industry said you're not going to get that. That's probably not going to happen. But it looks like, okay, you're going to get some sort of participation bonus. So hey, if this goes to streaming, maybe you get like a little, you know, there. It's the same with writers. They got that thing where if it does like 50% better than other programming, or if it does a certain amount of views in a certain amount of time, they get 50% of their initial pay again. So I think it's like that, like, here's a little bonus for being on streaming. Okay. Above pattern minimum compensation increases. The rumor going around is that it was like 7%, like most, just what you get for just being a small part, whatever. There's obviously a rate, right? Like something like in WWE, I don't know where it was, but back in the day, it's like if you were there, it's just like a a wrestler playing a security guard, or in a dark match, it's like you were guaranteed to at least get like $500 a pop, right? That was your guarantee. So that's what I think this is, where it's just saying that minimum, whatever it's going to be, it's going to be higher. Substantial increases for pension and health caps. That's great. I don't know what that means as far as the health caps, if that just means you'll be getting more, or I know a lot of people did complain and say, hey, what it took to get the actual pension and health benefits, it took a lot more, so maybe that's bringing down. We're going to get the specific stuff on Friday, I imagine. Once it goes through, they'll make it all public, but it looks like, okay, better health and pension, that's great for them. Pay increases for background actors, that's great, because I've heard that job fucking sucks. Contract provisions protecting diverse communities, that's good as well. Major provisions for consent and compensation from AI. Now, we don't know for sure what this is, but that's what happened a few days ago, right? Where who knows, but lots of scoopers and whatnot, they're saying it's all looking good by Friday, by Thursday, by Saturday. And then it was a deal came in, and then it was, oh, SAG's going to think about it. And then they sent back this huge response, apparently, or something, right? And all the signs were, hey, this is not like what people said. It's going to simple, yes, it's going to happen. And then it came out that, oh, we're still away on some aspects of the deal, primarily being AI. And I will agree, there's some things that the actors, I think majority of things the actors want, they should get, but there's some things even that they can't get, right? But with the studios, I'm not alone saying this, it's not a rare thing, but like literally saying, hey, we want to have you scanned. We want to own that scan forever. And even if you die, we want to be able to have consent to use that scan. That was dumb. I don't know why they thought of that. I don't know if there's some sort of reasoning behind that they were trying to trick them into something else. I don't know, but it's just dumb. That should not be a thing. I'm completely fine with, and how they listed here is what I'm curious, right? Major provisions for consent and compensation from AI. So I am always in the camp where I think Bruce Willis did this, where I think it was Willis or somebody recently signed a, hey, when I die, you can have my likeness, right? Like James Dean family, they did that, right? And even something like that's been the big debate this week with Moff, right? Yeah, Grand Moff Tarkin for Rogue One. His family did say yes, but people go, oh, is that still, he wasn't alive. I think that for AI, if someone wants to sign away their likeness, and you can do whatever, you put them in this superhero movie, this rom-com, this porn, whatever, as long as they sign off and they're getting paid, their family are getting paid, go ahead, use AI, whatever you want to do. Because some people, I guarantee, won't care. They'll just want to cash in on the money. If it's people that are just doing ads and stuff like that, right? But this idea that they were going to try and just go and get this, oh, hey, by the way, we just own you forever, right? Same thing what we heard about some of these background actors, where it's like, we're just going to put them in the background. You get paid like a $500, $600, maybe $1,000 fee, and then we use you forever. None of that made sense. Ruben Mike says James Earl Jones did it. There you go. I'm sure Disney, fuck, they must love that, right? Because they can just do Darth Vader all day long. So I'm completely fine. And that's where it's just like AI is going to be used, and it is going to advance in 3 years. And that's why this was the big thing, right? They were far apart on. But then apparently when that came back, the studios did go, okay, let's get this fixed. And the studios, they were definitely like, we had talked about before, and Travis told you, they were definitely getting desperate. Everyone's desperate right now, right? As of course, especially some of the actors that like were gig to gig, not gig to wig. They are getting like really, really hurt by this. Hunter Iggy says, do you think we will get Superman Legacy news this week or next week? I will answer that in a second, because we're going to talk about this deal part, and then we're going to talk about all the productions that now have a date or a scheduled date and stuff. So we'll talk about Legacy in a second and what I think. But I teases, I think pretty soon. Yeah, I think we're going to get a lot of floodgates opening up. So the idea was they had to have this deal done by November 1st. And what happened is November 1st, a new deal got put in. That was like, oh, we're close, then AI. And then they went, oh, we're doing a final deal. So it was kind of an extension of that. For people that don't know, usually come like December, most productions, age and stuff like that, they usually take a break until like mid-January, maybe even February, right? Most of Hollywood shuts down just for the holidays, break, stuff like that. Of course, some go on, but majority of them do. So the idea was there's a small window of, if we get this done, we can get some movies things done, we can get the TV season done. If we don't get it done, we're fucked. And that's where I did worry, and they did try that. And I said this to GUA, and I said to other people that they're going to wait for the first, and they're going to try and fuck them over and give them an offer and just say, hey, whatever, we're going to walk away and just try and get whatever. And I do think they did that because they said they were doing their final best offer. But then SAG came back and said, no, we're not going to do that. There's still these issues. And then they came like, oh, well, maybe we'll fix a few AI things. And SAG still went, no. So a weaker SAG, in my opinion, would have done what I was worried about, where SAG says November 1st, deadline's here. If this offer, if you don't take it, fuck you. And I think they're hoping that the SAG would just say yes. And they didn't. So good on them. We have to see everything. And hopefully they did not let anything really. AI to me is the biggest thing. Pay everything. I know it sucks to say, but that does just come down to how much work you get. And I'm not saying background actors or extras and stuff shouldn't get paid. They should, but it's just like an athlete, like any promotion, once you climb up, get more popular, bigger roles, the pay will come. The AI shit, that's stuff you don't want to fuck with. That's stuff that you don't want, we saw that Black Mirror episode, right? So that's what happened. And then they did like apparently there's like, you got to accept it by 5. And that's why hopefully that wasn't the case, but they definitely were hurting because like you look at Warner Brothers stock went down by 20%. Disney's didn't, they were lucky, but all around people are just bleeding money and they need the money. They need to start going now, especially all these movies getting delayed. Like it was gonna be like COVID where we're going to have a shutdown again. And I'm so surprised we got this long, 120 days. Because like after COVID, people lost so much money and time. Do you want to do this again? And the studios really did want to do this again for the most part. I'm sure the actors were tough on some things, but still it's like, this should not have taken as long as it did. This is kind of, I won't say pathetic, but a little irresponsible, especially for people that have a lower tier career that did live paycheck to paycheck. That really sucks, but hopefully they can bounce back. And yeah, there's a lot of things that are going to go in production now. So we'll get the full details Friday. I'm happy this is happening because there is a little bit of fun for us when it's like, oh, we got to just dive in and see what's happening. But even for us, there's no, we have no problem with being honest. Like our numbers, both downloads and monetization are down, but that's kind of for everybody. It's even like in that Marvel report from Variety where it's like, oh, that brand is down. But it's like when there's no news, you're getting some trailers, no casting news, no big, announcements, no whatever, no projects announced. It hurts all around, and that's why for us, I think we went sometime like 3 weeks without a newscast, right? Because there's not too much, and that's where even for us, everybody, writers, reviewers, that hurts the bottom line. You don't think when we used to have Travis told you Weekly Geek and then the GeekVerse podcast, and then it went down to just GeekVerse news sometimes. You don't think that hurt? Absolutely it did. So that's why it's a lot like COVID, where when that happened, we were on a high after Endgame, and then we just took a dive. Like we didn't take a dive, but it's not like what we were last fall or the fall before, just because things aren't flowing as much. And the brands that are around right now, Captain Marvel, Loki, Ahsoka, they're not doing as well as they used to, right? And that's a whole nother issue, which we'll get into the Marvel topics. But yeah, let's keep going up. So we're going to talk about some of this production. So we'll start there, Hunter Eggy. You asked it. So Superman Legacy news this week or next week. So supposedly, in that Deadline article, they released a bunch of stuff of things that have been delayed or moved or what's filming and everything, and we're going to get to that. They're saying Superman Legacy is filming March. Now, someone, if you're watching the chat, let me know, and just because it's kind of combining, what was the last date for the Batman? Batman Part 2. I thought it was March as well, right? Because I remember the Batman originally having a November filming date, and I was like, oh, that's great. Here we go. But then obviously all this shit happened. So someone let me know, and if not, I'll search it up after. But if you could let me know, that'd be great for the help. I think there's a chance we might be getting the Batman and Superman in March, but if not, we're getting at least Superman in March. I think so. What does that give us? We're not done November, but let's count November, December, January, February, March, 5 months. And that's shooting. So there's going to be a lot of other things. I think that you will, this week, no, because I think we're near the end of the week. I think you still have to sign the deal by Friday, right? Like and then even then, sure, Alexander Skarsgård, Lex Luthor, that will be big, and I'm sure there'll be some little news, but I feel like everyone's gonna kind of do have Friday go, get that all signed off, let's take the weekend game plan, and then you're gonna go. I don't know if it's gonna be right away next week, but I think that all depends on the timetable. If it's moving at a rate where like his Gunn could work on writing once that was solved, right? He said the script was done, but still he could. There's other things in pre-production you can do. You can scout. If it is a sense where literally it is just we needed to announce the actors and we want to really get going, then I could see literally next week get Superman news. I think you get Jimmy Olsen, Lex, and a main villain. I really do. I think those are, or another main villain if Lex isn't the main villain. I don't think he is. So that's why I'm saying a main villain. I think those are the 3 you get. And I'm not saying you're for sure going to get them all next week, but I think James Gunn is ready to go. He's had enough of this between, COVID, Guardian stuff. Like, I feel like, especially just answering people's questions and all this shit, I feel like he's ready to start putting stuff out there, getting filming, getting to put that first HD shot of Superman, Lois, Lex. I think he's raring to go to kind of shut people up in a good way. I think completely good way, right? So I could see that next week. I could. I think we're going to talk about a little bit the Marvel's reaction, but like as we talk about in our Discord, join our Discord. I have the same thought where Marvel likes to do this, and DC did as well. But hey, if something isn't going great, release something else. I'm not saying for sure that F4 comes out next week. Like Matt Shankman said, they're cast, and when the strike's over, you'll get an announcement. I'm not saying for sure, but there is a chance because I think it really depends on that box office for the Marvels, because the Marvels box office is not looking too good. We'll break that down after this, but I think there's a chance, a small chance it's next week, but if not, I think now it's before the end of the year. Before I thought, oh, they'd wait till Comic-Con, and I think they could have if the Marvels did well, but if it does lesser than and not what they want is looked upon as a failure or disappointment, they change the narrative, they get going. And like I said, I think they have things to go. I know the movie's already out, but still get all three ladies doing some press, do hot ones, go on a talk show. Like the movie's still going to be out there, still promoting. People might go, oh, I like this trio. Because most reviews so far have been like, they're all great together, right? So that's the thing where I still think it's worth doing a little bit of promotion for the Marvels with this crew. So yeah, Superman, I think. Batman, we'll see, but I thought that was March as well. Here are some other ones that are starting up production. Juror number 2. Okay, that's, oh, fuck. Oh my God. I thought that, so I was casting with the guys, and this whole time when I saw this pop up in my notifications, I thought it said the Junior 2, like a sequel to Arnold's Junior when he gets pregnant and had the kid, and I was like, they're making a Junior 2? Like, I know that they were talking about making a twin sequel to Triplets, but they're making a Junior 2? Wow, but no, that's that Clint Eastwood final movie one. Okay, that makes so much more sense there. There you go. So that's starting up around a dozen days of filming. I don't think that affects us in a much point. Like, I like Eastwood's films, but lately they've been more hit or miss. Gladiator 2 had 90 minutes already shot, so that's going to get up production. That's good, especially for those guys that are like working out, trying to stay in shape. That's good. Beetlejuice 2. 2 days of filming. So that's going to be a nice, easy shoot. Maybe they'll do a couple reshoots here or there. They probably had some time to look over some stuff. And these are the major blockbusters that begin filming next week or in the very near future. So next week or the next 2 weeks, these are going, right? And then the other one, Venom 3. Venom 3 got a new date. Where is it here? I'll find where it is. Oh, where is it? Because it got delayed here. There we go. So Venom, which is so funny. Let's see. So Superman Mike says, yeah, Batman 2 Part 2 seems like March filming as well. He films those films quick. Are you talking about which one? Who we go over? Who's he? I suppose just clarify who. If you're talking about Clint, yeah, he does. He's notorious for like, oh, one take, they went good. Yeah, great. And okay, so it seems, yeah, I think March is like the plan, right? And we were just starting to get rumors about villains. We had heard about Two-Face. We heard about Hush. We heard about there's a Scarecrow movie. That's more recently. But I feel like, yeah, Clint Eastwood. Okay, yeah, no, he's notorious for just one cut done. That's sometimes the GeekVerse way of when we're in the, out, as you guys have seen, lots of the film takes place in the woods. And man, being in negative degree weather would fucking burn through those batteries. And sometimes we had to do the Clint Eastwood method of, we got to get this right. We got 19% and we don't want to come back out this deep in the woods. Let's fucking go, you know? So there's a couple good stories about that. And I'll explain that more when we get to movie details and when we do the release of that. Because there were some takes that were just, oh man, they've been painful in edit because you just had to make it work. But I think it's come along good. So Batman, that's what I'm very excited about because I want the news. That's the one I want the most news about. I know people are jazzed about Legacy, but definitely I'm jazzed too for Deadpool 3, which is also going to start filming. That had, what did they say? It's 50% complete. So I think there's a chance it can hit, because I said before, if it goes to January, no fucking way Deadpool 3 comes out next year. So many people are like, oh yeah, it's for sure going to come out even back here. No. Now starts filming to go. I'm not trying to be that guy, but Hugh Jackman is like divorced. I'm not trying to be like, hear me out. He's divorced and single. I think he's looking for stuff to do, and not like in that way either. Like, I think and I'm not saying, oh, Deadpool 3 cause I just think lots of people like to bury themselves in that work. And maybe in a time where it's like, hey, I got to be home with my wife, be home with this, blah, blah. He might not have those obligations anymore. So I feel like I don't want them to rush Deadpool 3 to get it out because we've heard of all these issues lately with Marvel rushing things to make it happen. But I do think they want it next year. I think they want to make sure that the brand is turned around and have some sort of good grace, because we'll talk about that later. But since phase 4 now, we have 4 rotten projects in the MCU: Eternals, Secret Invasion, the Marvels, which we'll talk about is currently, and then Ant-Man Quantumania, right? I know Cap's more done, and I know the plan still might be to try and get 2 of them in. I still think if there's a way for them to do Deadpool 3 first, they will. Because I think Deadpool 3 is a winner. If Deadpool 3 is not a winner, whether it's the movie or the box office, we're fucked. Because I think box office, if that does poorly, and it shows, hey, even Hugh Jackman coming back doesn't do well, then we're fucked. Superhero fatigue is really, really in. Or if it sucks movie-wise, sure, a lot of people are going to show up, but they might go, yeah, these Marvel movies just aren't that good, and it'll start to weigh on them in the future, right? So they got to nail that, and I do actually have faith that they will nail that. I think the whole crew, I don't think Jackman would come back if they didn't. I trust Ryan Reynolds. I like Sean Levy as a choice. I think Feige is motivated. I think that one's for sure going to be a winner, and I think that's why you have that first. Have that if they could, because it was originally in May, right? If you could get it to July and then have the Cap movie in like that fall, I think that'd be good, because I think Captain America New World Order does better or is it Brave New World? I don't even remember what it is now. I think it's New World Order. No, it's Brave New World, right? This is me assuming Deadpool 3 is a home run, right? Captain America 4 does better if it's after the home run Deadpool than it is before, because it's coming off some meh projects, meh to mix, right? Who knows about Echo? Maybe that kills it. But yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Super Mike says, I would rather them delay Deadpool than rush to finishing it. I could see it getting a few delays months at S-Bubs. No way they try and make it for May still. Yeah, I don't think May. I think the earliest is July and the latest is November, December. I don't know how much of a Christmas movie it'll be, but they've had success December. We talk about it with you, Mike, right? Like December, big blockbuster movies have success. I know it's rated R, but there'll still be a sense of, I want to go see Hugh Jackman, and maybe they'll like some of the older teens or maybe the younger kids will be like, let's see them come. Like they can come and watch Deadpool 3, right? Like Hugh Jackman's back. And Julio, I hope I'm saying your name right, says Ryan Reynolds is committed to making Deadpool 3 great. And I believe that, right? I think everybody's committed to making a project great. You know, we'll talk about that with Echo. I'm sure everyone means well, but that doesn't mean it's going to happen. Same thing with the Marvels, right? But I do think it'll be a win. As I've said before, if they miss with that, then it's like, we're really in trouble now. But I think July's the earliest and November's the latest. I think they will try for next year. And that's why maybe Cat 4 just does come out, because it's like, hey, Deadpool 3 isn't ready until November, but we have majority of Captain America done. Let's do that. And I might go, okay, sure. Push it forward, do Cap 4 first. And hopefully it's great, right? That's the idea. I'm not saying that, and the Marvels is not that case, but to me, you look at Birds of Prey, a great movie, but suffered from many things, but also just DCU having issues. I think that's the thing where it's like, this great movie is not getting seen. That's the thing with Cat 4. If people are just kind of fatigued and tired of the MCU, if it comes out, well, we don't care because the MCU is meh. Where I think if Deadpool 3 happens, everyone's like, oh, Marvel, MCU, Deadpool, this is great again. Oh, there's Cat 4. Yeah, let's go see that, right? That's where I think it does help. So we'll see. I don't know what they're going to do with Cat 4 as well. I know they might have some, productions or some additional photography to do, but we'll see. We don't want any FX being rushed. Need to take time. Luckily, the Marvel FX people and people that work with them are going to be doing like unionization now. So that's good. Hopefully that won't happen anymore, and just stop doing it. I should have warned you about the water break, but like, we've seen the case of a lot of bad stuff, and I talk about it today. All these news have talked about it. Marvel is going to be taking a step back and releasing less. That's what they need to do. We've now seen we have the proven proof. The proof is in the pudding. That's the one. We lived in a world with Endgame where it was 3, maybe sometimes 4 films a year, and that did work. That was like, to me, we've seen the cap, where we also saw the version of 3 to 4 films a year and then 3 to 4 shows a year, whether it's a mix of live action animation. That's too much. I don't know what the barometer is because I still have Disney Plus. I think the barometer is 3 movies and 2 shows because I don't think they're going to drop down to 2 movies. They might next year, but I think they've shown their limits now, right? We've lived in a world where, okay, not everything is going to be accepted from the MCU. Maybe if we lived in a multiverse where all those projects were great and phase 3 quality, then maybe it'd be different. But we've seen that when you start to make that much, you can't keep that quality. You just can't, right? SBub says, now I'll do a Leo point on the screen with Seth Rollins shows up in Brave New World. Yeah, Seth Rollins playing like Cobra or something like that in Cap, so that'll be fun. But yeah, and then Venom. So that was one where it was like a no duh. I don't even know why they announced it in the first place. They originally announced Venom 3 was going to be in July. I thought they had filmed a day or two. Comes out they haven't filmed anything. So they've pushed that back to November 8th, 2024. It's just like, even that, it's like, I guess they'll probably hit it, but still, that's like a small potential window. I guess it depends how fast they work in 2023. But yeah, that Venom 3, everybody, if you're really concerned, that's delayed till November 3rd. Yeah, they haven't even started filming on that. So I don't know what they were thinking with July. That was just a joke date, really, in my opinion. Let's see. And then what else is production wise here? Live action Minecraft movie. Cool. That's going to be happening. Like, that's going to be back to filming in early 2024. And then Mortal Kombat 2 will be also filming in early 2024. And the final thing of Stranger Things is now expected to begin filming in a couple weeks. So it's interesting. You can see how many productions were in the middle, and like I said, mentioned, voiceover work for Beyond the Spider-Verse will now continue via deadline, which is, I don't understand that either, because they had talked about, hey, we don't have a complete script, or we don't, there's all these changes and everything. So yeah, I don't understand. Oh, so I was wrong. Sorry. The strike is not over yet. It's 12 a.m. PST, not 12 a.m. EST. So it's over in about a couple more hours. So there you go. You get a bunch of actors just boom, 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 saying, oh, hey, look at this, read this and stuff. So, but yeah, that's great. I'm excited for his one, just someone that likes going to movies and everything. Andy Serkis directing Venom 2 over Zoom from Batman. Is he directing Venom 3? I actually don't remember. No, he's not, SBub. So I'll be the guy in the chair and fact check you. It's the person that, I think the last two films were both written by Tom Hardy, and someone that has like written the Venom movies and 50 Shades. She's getting a shot at it. So I think it's just a thing that they're friendly and he trusts her. And so yeah, not a great caliber to start off with, but no, he's not directing that one. And not that he brought much to Venom 2. I don't really care about the Venom stuff. We'll talk about later with Avi Arad, but yeah, it's not good. It's that stuff's not good either. But yeah, it looks like SAG, we've met a deal. Strike seems to be over as long as the vote goes Friday. We're going to get a bunch of production in the coming months. We're going to get a bunch of casting and news announcement now because people are sitting on stuff. People have been tired, or people have been waiting. People are tired of waiting. It's going to happen. So Tom Hardy, it's Ganondorf. Not awful though, actually. SBub's not awful. So doing the Bane voice. Okay, now you bring it down. I love the Bane voice, but I don't think people will be on board. But Kelly Marcel is directing Venom 3. There you go. So, and yeah, that doesn't get me. I'm ready for I know there's been rumors about like once Secret Wars happens, and then once Venom 3, like some of that Sony Marvel stuff might stop, and they might try to reboot too. I don't know. Just get us live action Miles. Get us, not in those movies, but get us that. Get us Spider-Man 4. Get us Amazing Spider-Man 3. More Spider-Verse stuff. All the stuff with Venom and Morbius and Craven and Madam Web is it's just not working. And now someone's going to go and affect the fucking Zelda franchise. But yeah, the SAG strike is over. Very exciting. I think we're all excited as moviegoers. No, don't forget Craven. Of course not. I didn't forget Craven. How could I? Biting the dude's nose off, radar. What is the new date of? Okay, hopefully I'm back. My mic got unplugged. Terrible cord situation I got going on right now. But so what we got? So for comic book movies next year, we have, as long as everything goes well, Cap 4 and I don't know, I guess Cat 4, Deadpool 3, and then Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts is still planned for December, I guess. I don't know if that's a good idea. There's still tons of time. I'm just saying, like, I guess you could do Cap in May, Deadpool 3 in July, and then that in December. I just hope that they're good because I still think you could maybe switch to two, but still, you got those two. And then you got Madam Web, Craven, and Venom. So you got 6 Marvel movies, 3 of them being MCU. And then you have a Joker 2, which is the only one which is going to come out sometime in October-ish. So DC's taking a big break then. But so you'll still have some TV shows. You'll still have 7 comic movies. It's still quite a bit. But I think Joker will be a hit. Deadpool 3 will be a hit. The rest of them are all, to me, TBD. You know, we'll have to see. No way Thunderbolt comes out next year. I hope not, Mike. But if they still make their mistakes and come out, if they do what they're doing right now, it will. The rushing of FX. And I know we talked about the union, so that's good. But just storyboards, everything. I hope not. They just recently brought another writer on to Thunderbolts, so I'm with you. I won't say no way because I could see them. It being December, that's a whole year. They could crank that on a whole year. And same thing with Venom. They could crank that on the whole year if they want it. I just don't want them to crank it out. I want them to put the quality into it, right? So I won't say no way. We'll wait and hear till we see the dates. I think that's why we didn't hear anything official on Deadpool 3 because they want to just wait and see what's going to happen as far as the filming goes. So, anyways, I think that's it for the strike. If you got any more questions, let us know in the comments. I'm going to take a first Brad break and then we're going to talk about some Marvel news, some Blade, some Marvel, some Echo, Marvel Spotlight. So we'll be right back. Okay, and we are back. So, I'm just going to talk about this quickly because I will talk about this more on. I don't know when the next Straz Toll is going to happen. Let me see here. Let's see here. I'm hoping next Tuesday to drop on the Wednesday. We'll see. But right now, the Marvel's at 59%. Oh, look at the Killers went up. Today it was 86 and now it's at 88. I can't fucking wait. So annoyed we didn't get that in the theaters here, but I digress. 2 more days, Killer come out. Fast Daddy is back. So right now, 132 reviews, 59%. Technically, of course, it's like a pass, right? But in Rotten Tomatoes scores, it's a raw movie. What's its average sitting at for the critics right now? It's an average 5.7 out of 10, which is like kind of the barometer I was going in with. I was kind of going in with it was probably going to be like a 6 out of 10. I'm not going to let fucking Rotten Tomatoes decide that. I don't need to send out that tweet all the time of like, make sure you don't let the critics make your opinions. Go out there and choose for yourself. It's like, we're not in 2015, 16 anymore. We get it. We know, right? So let's see. Superman Mike says feels more like a February release for the Thunderbolts. I could agree. That could work for them. February, they could even make it May. It could be their big movie, right? Because technically, I know we're about to talk Marvel, but let's see. MCU Phase 5. So right now, I think for shows, they're talking about like Daredevil and Agatha and stuff like that. But for movies, I guess Blade, right? They're hoping we get Blade going. So for movies, they had for Phase 5 Ant-Man, which we got Guardians, Marvels, Blade, Thunderbolts, Captain America. And I guess Deadpool 3 is new. So really, the only movie that's here on Phase 5 is Blade. So they could do that. I think you could do that. Make Thunderbolts, even though they might want to. I guess Blade is such an anomaly, right? But like Blade, they might want to try and. I guess there's 2 ways I think they try to time it. They either go February and they go Black History Month, or they go October. So maybe that's what they do for like the horror-ish month. So maybe they do like Thunderbolts that first half and then Blade there. And I don't know what else. Like I know there's I guess F4 is a possibility, right? That could be that date right now. And they could make that. Because that's what they better be fucking making 2025, right, for Fantastic Four, right? What is the actual date right now? Fantastic Four movie. All the old ones are gonna come up. Let's see. Oh boy, come on. Just 2025 is the date right now on IMDb. Does it have like a date or is just 2025? So yeah, I could see that. You could have a lighter year this year, or next year you go Echo, some other show. I can't remember which one else there is. Cap and Deadpool, and there's some animated stuff, so that's good. And then the next year you got Thunderbolts, Blade, and F4. Even though I don't think you put F4, maybe F4 is a summer movie, right? So we'll see. But yeah, anyways, Marvel's Ron. I think it will stay there, but there might be a couple more movies that are reviews that might get it past there. Either way, it's mixed. Not great. Also, we don't have a cinema score. That'll be in a couple days when people start to seed and everything. But not great. And then so projections wise, it's all over the map right now. It's a couple weeks ago was the 80 to 90, and then it dropped to the 70 to 60, and now there's a box office tracking pro that did a long term. They were the 50 to 60, and now they're saying like 42 million. And they actually have been, I can't remember what the site is. It's like long term box office tracking, but they've been pretty good with it recently, and they put 42 million. That's bad. That's worse than I said. I said under 60 million, which to me was not good. I went under 60 because Flash was under 60, Indy was under 60, so it's like these big franchises are coming under 60 million. To me, the Flash and Indiana Jones are bigger than the Marvels, so that's definitely going to come under 60. Hashtag, I think Travis told you that's going to happen. Word of mouth, we'll have to see. It's not the be-all, end-all, because, like, look at Mario. That made lots of money, right? But that had big tracking and everything, and word of mouth, I think, was the most part, people liked it. Like, even Elemental, though, right? Because I feel like that's the new example right now of a movie coming out, and it looking like it's DOA, right? It's like, oh, it didn't make its money, but it still had, what, a review score 74. Okay, so still, like, a certified fresh, and then 93%. So that's a lot different though as well, because there's not too many kids movies. There's not like a fatigue of kids movies. I think they're more picky nowadays, and there's movies like Lightyear where you go, why didn't that do well? But kids movies at least still have a market of, hey, there's nothing else to see. Let's go see that. Where the Marvels, you got Aquaman 2 coming in a couple months, and I think that will at least do better than the Marvels, right? I think people like Momoa more. It's going to be interesting because that's also a sequel to a $1 billion film like this, but 42 million, that's not good. I think at one point it was looking like, I think 60 to 80 worldwide. So at one point it was looking at like a 120 worldwide for the whole week. All reviews seem to agree that Aman Vellani is fantastic in it. Yeah, and I'm not surprised, right? The trailers are pushing that. She looks good. This news trailer, they tried their best. They tried to make it look epic, and they try to make like the villains tied to Thanos, and they try to say like, you don't want to miss this next event. Everything changes now. Too little, too late. They should have done that earlier. Now, I don't even think that's a great trailer. They led it with Iron Man and Cap and Tony being like, oh, we're a team. And then Carol Danvers being like, yeah, we are. And it's like, all right, like you knew him for a little bit, but that's fine. I think they should have led with that more. I think there's multitude of reasons, right? We've talked about this before, and I'll talk about this again when we get the box office, but superhero fatigue, yes. People are being more picky, yes. MCU's had some not a great track record, yes. People, I would say, these are more subjective, but I feel like obviously people did not like the Captain Marvel movie or character enough to come back for this. So that's one. Miss Marvel. We talked about this before. As like Marvel, Star Wars, like some of the bigger ones, this is the least watched show. Well, it shows it right there, right? Least watched. People don't, I don't mean to be crass, but people don't give a fuck. They don't care. And if it's 40, if it's in the 40, if it's under 50 million, it's not being crass anymore. People don't give a fuck. The main general audience don't give a fuck. Of course, there's some people, but the mass audience does not give a fuck for whatever reason about Marvel, superheroes, Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, fucking Photon, whatever she's being called. Whatever it is, they do not give a fuck. They do not give a fuck to the amount that this movie is likely gonna lose them money. If you got to make up double your profit, and it's coming in at like 100 million for its weekend, and it's 250. No, that's not happening. So it's just, again, lots of reasons. And the other reason is the trailers. I don't think the trailers were great. I think there's two categories, right? I liked them and thought they were fun, and it does good for a already on board audience. In the past times, there was many people that are already on board with the MCU, and they would take it. They're not right now. So you need to cut a better trailer and just, we're having fun and it's wacky and high fives. That's not doing it for people. You got to be different, or you got to be really, really good. I don't think the Marvel is going to be really, really good. I loved, I at least really enjoyed Nia DaCosta's Candyman. So I'm excited, and I think I'll like it. But I don't think it has that word of mouth, and it doesn't look any different. It just looks like another MCU adventure, right? Which people are not into right now, or at least not into these characters. So Trailers, that's another thing to me that I think this trailer would have been better and done better earlier, but it's too little too late. I don't think on Monday. I was talking about this Kirkland where he talked about somebody at work or two people today, he said at work, he's talking about the Marvels and they had no idea it was out this week, you know? And I will say too, yes, another one on those, we want to put those notches on the belt, the belt. Those three women not doing press does hurt it. I'm not saying it would have been plus 60. I'm not saying it would have been 100 million, but I think those three literally would have helped somewhat. I think many movies out there, the media does not do anything. The interviews, nothing. But I think those three being together, you'd have some fun memes, hot ones, stuff like that. Amon doing the big press tour, that would have been great. I do think it would have helped and got some more positive buzz with them not being able to promote it, at least before. It hurt it. So, first time they finally pushed TV characters in the movie, 2/3 of them are the main cast from the shows. Yeah, like I guess you could. Yeah, I guess so, right? Because Wanda started in the movies. You could argue that she got bigger in the show, but still, she started in the movies, had some big stuff in Endgame. And yeah, that's an experiment, right? And you could even argue, Mike, that it's a completely different character for the most part, but Kang is that. They introduced Kang and Loki, the big bad threat. They bring him in Quantumania. People don't care. They bring don't care, but it's not a huge success, right? They bring, Rambo and Miss Marvel into the movies. They don't care. And that's where there's something like, I can't remember where, there's some statistic, if I can speak, statistic that shows that movies, I think it was in the pandemic era, right? And I think it was Warner and something else. I don't know if it was them or a third party that looked at, here's movies that just dropped on streaming and then, their streaming trajectory after. Here's a movie that released in theaters and their streaming trajectory once they dropped on streaming. And it was higher. And you would go, well, that doesn't make sense because the movie that dropped on streaming, shouldn't that have higher because it's based there? No, because with it being in the movie theaters, in front of people, getting that natural buzz of like, have you seen this? Have you seen this? People will show out more for it on the app, subjectively. Streaming service is just there, and it could get forgotten about, added to a list you might watch years from now, right? Where a movie at a movie theater, it has a bigger impact. And that's where I think we're seeing now. You could argue that Kang, and now you could argue that these two, that it doesn't matter how many millions of people are watching it. They're not showing out for it, right? So, and we'll have to see because no one else really, I don't think, is going there. We got a couple characters that are doing the reverse, like, Ironheart from Black Panther to there, but who knows? So we'll see. Reviews, middling, which I'm not surprised. I saw the reactions last night. I thought, this is going to be rotten. It is rotten. I thought most of the times it looked like the bar for this could be a 7, which I'm fine for a 7. I don't need something to be more than a 7. Some projects I do. I don't want the Batman Part 2 to be a 7, but some I'm fine for just a fun adventure. And that's what I hear this is. Who knows what the surprise is, but yeah, we'll be reviewing that both with Loki tomorrow. That'll be lots of fun. A good doubleheader. I go over to Taylor's, the Kirklands, we're watching Loki together, and then we're watching the Marvels together. It's going to be a good time. I'm looking really forward to that. Some other stuff. Echo trailer came out. Surprise, Swiffer the internet. So, few minds on this. And this ties into Blade and Marvel Spotlight, all that good jazz, right? Trailer's great. And it definitely is invoking that Marvel Netflix. I agree with Chris when he said on, Marvel Alliance, you wouldn't think this is a Marvel production. It felt very much like Marvel Netflix, where, it's Marvel, but this is a different crew and company making these. Great. Love the variety, and I want that. That's how I've always said, and that's where I think MCU is struggling a bit now. Variety is fucking key. After or in the post-Endgame world, and this is why I was such a big fan. I know, Brent, you might be listening, you don't like Joker, right? But Brent, I think even you might have to admit that even if you don't like it, you should want movies like Joker to do well, because if people feel like comic book movies have variety, the whole genre will keep thriving and surviving. If people just feel like, another comic movie, they will start to turn away. That's why I think Joker 2 will do good next year, because it's a musical, rated R and stuff. I think people will be like, what the fuck is this? Lady Gaga. There's so many different things, right? With Marvels, there's nothing different. It's the same old, same old. It's another Marvel adventure. Same thing with Shazam Blue Beetle, another DC adventure. And we're not in a time where you can just pump those out. So with Echo, that's where I think it is great to have, it's darker. The pacing of it just feels more slower and more character driven. They've talked about that. We're going to get in that with Marvel Spotlight. It feels darker. It feels more gritty. There's literally a guy that gets his brain shot and you see brain matter on the wall. Everything is great. And now we've heard so much before where, there's problems with this yet. What I won't subscribe to, and I don't understand this, where it's fine, right? Because I was talking about this with DC Outlaw Anthony. He's listener in GUA and stuff, and he messaged me. I can't remember his initial tweet, but we were going back and forth about, like, they were trying to bury this because right now it is January 10th. It's on releasing on Disney Plus and Hulu, confirmed rated mature, which is cool, and still all they drop for 5 episodes. And we were going back and forth about that. And Brent got on the thread and he said, "What is true?" And he said, "Well, they never said they didn't believe in it. It's scoopers and whatnot. So that's purely on one side." It is, but it is stuff that we still listen to and report on, right? So that's where, for me, I just find you can say the trailer looks great, but I just find it odd if lots of us read these reports and we think, oh, there could be issues. And then this trailer comes out like, oh, I was completely wrong. And I'm not saying that. Echo could come out and be great. It could be the best MCU show, Disney Plus show we've ever gotten. But when have we just been like, oh, the trailer is great, all my problems are gone? And that's where it's just like, I remember Terminator Salvation having one of the best trailers of all fucking time. 9 Inch Nails in there, Christian Bale. Oh, just the speech going on. So fucking good. Go watch. I think it's the first trailer for Terminator Salvation. Go watch that. Go watch some of the trailers for Justice League. There's a really good 4-minute, I think it was Comic-Con one. Go watch, people who say Secret Invasion. I didn't think they were great, but so many people go, oh, the trailers were great and the show was shit. The trailer's doesn't have me convinced yet. The trailer definitely helped me out, because if the whole tone and vibe, and they say, oh, she's like a villain in the show, that's great. Everything I'm seeing is great, but I'm also not going to be the same side. I feel like completely flipping and going, this trailer is great, I got nothing to worry about. No, we've seen the Moon Knight trailer is fucking great, and I thought we got just like a fine show where they really dropped the ball on many aspects, right? Joss Lee Come Together trailer is god tier. Yeah, it is. I think the one I'm talking about has that a little bit, but it's not that. But they cut some good trailers there, right? So trailer's good. If the show can match that, perfect. But it could still mean they're burying it. I know people are going to go, why they're burying it? They got on Hulu. I don't know, because the strikes was happening. They're worried about content, or Brandon's brought this up, they could be experimenting. And I hope it's great. You know why? Because I like watching good stuff. I never want stuff to fail. Do I get to do what the show says Travis told you? Yes. But I would rather be proven wrong. And same thing, I don't want the Marvels to do bad. When I said it was going to be under 60, I don't want that. I want these things to be going for a long time. I want these things to be going for another 5-10 years. So then if we get to the height of the MCU again and Secret Wars and X-Men, I would have loved in phase 3 to be going with my kids I have now. I don't want to get to a stage where it's like, oh yeah, that was the past and now it's just video game movies, which can be great, but we'll see. But that did also lead to the announcement that they're doing this thing called Marvel Spotlight. And Marvel Spotlight, I'm just going to paraphrase, where it is focused on characters. I think it's specifically gritty street characters, but still characters over the larger MCU. And let's see. Superman Mike says, my big worry is if they put most Kingpin stuff in the trailer, but he's in the show for only 5 minutes. I don't think that's the case. I think I've heard he's in the show quite a bit. I think Deadpool's really not going to be in it much. I think Daredevil's the one that they only showed him flipping around once, and we've got rid of the mushroom or the mustard ketchup outfit. So that's great. I think I've heard that he's only in there for a little bit. So that's the one where you want to go, okay, manage your expectations. But I think Kingpin is the main villain of this, or main villain, 1A, 1B. I think he's going to be in there lots, but I would agree with you that would be disappointing, but you got to sell the show, and people love that. And that's where I did not like what they did with him majority in Hawkeye. So this looks like a complete, in a good way, rip from the Netflix Daredevil show to here. Perfect. Fantastic. Let's go. Marvel Spotlight, is this something that's going to help them? I really don't know. As a fanboy, fangirl fan, whatever, of all this stuff, I think it is nice, because I feel like people have said this, and maybe Moon Knight will be in the Avengers, the MCU, but they kind of talked about originally like Moon Knight being it's by itself, but nothing's been by itself in the MCU, right? I think there is something good if they try to establish just, hey, if you see the Spotlight logo come up, this means this is a season 1 and done story, or the show, how many episodes it goes, 2, 3, 4, 1 and done. This is what it is. It'll be in the MCU. I think it'll be very, very similar to the Netflix stuff of, a guy with a electric hammer, the event. And I'm fine with that. I'm fine if is in the MCU and just touches upon it a little bit, but doesn't have to be like, where does Echo fit in the larger story? Same thing with Moon Knight. I think Moon Knight, and I agree, if everything we feel about Echo is right, I feel like what they're doing with Echo is what they should have done with Moon Knight. And the thing is, like, you can do a Marvel spotlight, make that story about her and Fist as one season, the one and done, whatever it may be. You could still have her pop up in Avengers. Here, this is, but don't make it so you have to watch it. And I think they're trying to, with pulling back content, with literally giving a division where Marvel Spotlight, you don't have to worry about the greater MCU. They're seeing that there is a pushback. I think some of that pushback was because there was so much of it, but now I think they're going the extra mile to show, hey, you don't have to watch everything. And if you're going to watch something, watch it on its merits of people recommending it or it being a good show. So I like the idea. I think the current rumor going around right now is that the next series for this would be Punisher, which would be great. But I think that's a good idea. The question is, does it work? Does it like make people watch it more? Does it, because there's an argument that people do go, hey, I don't want this much homework. But they also did really like the MCU being connected. And I think with the MCU, the rate it was from phase 1 to 3, it was in a way that either you could binge this stuff in 2 weeks leading up to Endgame and know, or you might miss a project or two, but it was fine. Where now it feels like, what do I watch? What do I not watch? As I've said before, it feels like that's why you should establish who your Avengers are. So people could go, I could skip Moon Knight. I could skip She-Hulk. Where the Marvels, I think a movie that way they're setting up and some things that may happen is a movie you don't want to skip. They've made it that it is just I don't know about this one, so we'll skip it. You don't want to be doing that, right? There's certain ones. So I think it's a great idea. Bring on more mature content. It works. Put it on Hulu. They even said, like, at the end, like, make sure switch over to TVMA. That's what you gotta do. You're gonna do that with Deadpool, and apparently you're gonna do that with Blade. It's been mixed because the Blade director was talking about, said they gave me an R, but people have contested that he might be talking about his project in there. But there's stuff where it's like, okay, well, probably talking about Blade, but we don't know for sure. So Superman says special presentations were a good idea, but now it feels like they're moving away from them. Yeah, I think that's just a budgetary thing. I think it's like, how much do those really bring in? I don't know. And they know the stats too, right? I think there might be one more happening. I think one of those was already being filmed or something like that. I think it was that Agatha one. Kind of like Guardians, where it feels like maybe they did it at the same time. But I loved the special presentations, but at the same time, you could argue, why don't you just make them half an hour longer and then make them a movie, right? You could. And I'm not saying that the Guardians Christmas movie would have done well, or Werewolf by Night, but maybe that's what they do and they stopped doing these things. I think special presentations were just for, we need content. I like that idea better than some of the shows because I don't think all of them need to be shows, but I digress. That's the way they're going. But as of right now, excuse me, voice crack. As of right now with Blade, it seems like, until they clarify, that the radar thing might be happening. And I've said this before and always. Would I prefer Blade rated R? Yes, absolutely. Did I need him to be rated R? No. I think Blade works in all many ways. I think many characters, even Deadpool, don't need to be rated R. It's like when I'm watching right now Crystal Lake Memories. It's a 6.5 hour documentary on all the Friday 13th. I usually watch that in the Nightmare Never Sleeps Again one every couple of years because I love them. I love horror films, especially right now when we're making films. I love seeing behind the scenes, stuff like that. And they talked about this. I can't remember. There's another thing too, where it's just like, you get this budget, you'd like more, but you got to work with it. And that's the challenge. And that's where I feel too with the rated R. It's like, okay, you have a character that's easy to have them stab, fuck everybody, be nude, all this stuff. But it's like, okay, put that character in PG-13. That is a bit more dark and gritty. What do you do? How do you manage there? But if they are going to make rated R, great. I'm completely fine with that. Make it rated R. Keep it 100, 125, maybe 150 the most, but don't go too banana sandwich on this Blade thing. Keep it manageable. Let's not break the bank on fucking Blade. Make a cool vampire movie, run it back, get your money, and go. And make it good, of course. Make it a good story, character development, all that good stuff, right? So we'll see. That's the rumor right now. I'm waiting to see. People didn't ask him. I was waiting to see if people would ask him for clarification. So I'm still officially waiting to hear it from Feige's mouth, just to give the thumbs up, like, okay, this is happening. But we'll see. So let's take another ad break, and then we're going to talk about some Zelda, and I'm going to give you some details about the GV movies. We'll be right back. And we're back. So, what I will give you just a few details here about this. So, again, a big thank you to everyone that tuned into Extra Life. I can't remember. It's somewhere over the like altogether. It was like over 1,000 views, which is very thankful. We raised, like I said, $1,910, which is great. Didn't hit all our goals, but that's fantastic because, like I said, economy's tough. It's tough. There's a lot of donations. You can see that for years before it's like people might do 50, but now it's 25 or 150. But anything counts, and all goes towards BC Children's Hospital. Thanks to everyone buying the shirt. That was really cool because that's our top selling shirt. And thank you just everybody that tuned in for a little bit, helped us out, gave us maybe some advice on audio. It was a very fun time. The trivia was great. The dodgeball was great. Some of the late night game was great. I got to make a thank you post, and we will put these out in individual videos eventually. It's just they take a lot of time because they're 10 hours, but we got to do the karaoke. Hunka Hunka is going to come back, but a big thank you. And the biggest thing is we got to reveal our movie that I can first time say this for like on air. Adrenochrome. Yes, Adrenochrome, as I had misspelled, of course, a couple times. Like, oh man, of course, I was tired. But yes, Adrenochrome. There was we just had the working title of 2 days, and I'm not going to go into full like, oh, this is the whole movie. Just a quick thing. We had the working title of 2 days because the plot does function around, as we've said. There's a character named Robert. He wakes up in the woods. He's given a note saying he's given 2 days to survive. There's someone else in that woods. They got a different goal. What's that goal? You gotta tune in. And it was just a working title of 2 days, and we didn't want to keep that because it's like kind of like it's just kind of generic. And Taylor had said something. It works towards the film, and that's where we went with Adrenochrome. So yeah, we're happy with that. You can see there's a poster, there's a trailer out there. It's pinned on the YouTube trailer, and a big thank you to everybody that liked it, shared it, whether it's on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, just said good things. I know probably for the most part people are just being kind. We know, as we've said before, we're an independent studio. We're working with we got a good camera, but we're not working with the best things. Anyway, we got a microphone, a mic hooked with the camera. It's not the bee's knees. It's not like this is the best. Like, we're starting off small fry here. We're working as hard as we can, and that's what I can always just promise, that we're going to work as hard as we can. And just a big thank you, because literally the camera, the mic, the time, you guys all pay for. So that's why there might be some times with a little less news or a little less stress told you, like I was before the stream where I had to edit the trailer. Same thing. As of right now, the goal is January 26th to release it. Obviously, anything can happen. There's a few more. There's just a couple things actually this week we're gonna reshoot, because it's just some things with the fires that happen here and just locations, and we wanted to make it look a bit better and stuff. So just minor things. It is pretty much in post production. Like, it's literally a thing where if we shoot when we shoot these things, it's just going and be it. So yeah, right now I'm mostly working on the sound. There is something that will tell the story. I'm working on some ADR, which fucking sucks. I never really want to do ADR again in like a grand scheme, but we just kind of had to. It was one of those days of some things were going wrong. It's like, okay, we're gonna have to do it this way, and it's like, I'm glad we did it that way because we got our shots, but fuck, it's been shitty on the other hand. But yeah, just a big thank you for. I know people are probably, no one's gonna say that listens to this like, oh, it looks like shit, and maybe if they didn't comment, they think that, but we thank you because we worked hard. Of course, I've done film class and stuff like that, but we're all, we review movies, talk about movies. I love movies, but we're all small fry rookies here. We're just, have a goal, have a dream. We'll see. But as I've said before, so you can go on our YouTube. It's the pin thing. But what we're going to be doing is, and for people to clarify, if you didn't tune in Extra Life, didn't see in the posts, we're officially GeekVerse Studios. I wanted to be GeekVerse Pictures. I really did. I like picture. I like calling things like the movies pictures. I like that old school aesthetic. But we're already GeekVerse Podcast, and it being GVP, the logo, thought having two GVPs, that just doesn't work. Studios, it's a little grand. I don't like the idea of studios because we're starting out all the same thing, but there's just certain things like we thought about films. Like, what if we do like shorts or TV shows and stuff? I'm not saying that's the goal right now. Don't worry. But like studios just like, hey, well, we do short films or we do stuff for YouTube, and even stuff where if we ever brought back Gauntlet and kind of being there, it's like, okay, we just did that. So it's a little grandiose. That's where with the logo, as I've said this before, the logo is like the vintage Warner Brothers, when it's like the two lines and the dot and it's like the white and red. I gave that to Taylor, said I want something like this, something simple, effective. Same thing with opening video. It's just, like the static into the logo. I don't like seeing the independent studios when they have this like three, and it's just like, yeah, this doesn't look good. You guys don't have the budget for that. We're trying to keep things as simple and as like independent, as low key as possible. But yes, GVS, that is a studio. As we announced, we got 3. I'm not sure if we've ever said this publicly, but yeah, we got the 3. We got this in post production, so we're working on stuff. I'll get to that release stuff in a second. Second one, we are about 70% done shooting. We got to shoot some more stuff. Once we're fully done with Adrenochrome, we're going to get back. We shot lots of that stuff in the springtime because it was before Taylor's baby, so we wanted to get that done. But yeah, we got majority of that. We still have to shoot some things, but it's a lot of more the easier scenes. There's 2 set pieces in particular that are bigger ones, so that's going to take up the bulk of it, but we know where we're going, what we're doing, so that's good. Not lots of dialogue in the scenes we have to shoot left, and that's why the second one has, I'm not going to talk about it because it's still going to be a bit away, but the second one has lots of dialogue. It's much more story and plotty heavy, or it's much more character and dialogue heavy, where the Adrenochrome is much more visual, I'll say that. And then the third film, we have one that is in pre-production right now. We're writing the scripts. That might give you an idea. So somebody, if you want to pick up on that, writing the scripts. Yeah, that's going to be hopefully shooting. The plan is next year early to start shooting some of it. So yeah, we got a lot on the go, but like we said in our post, we had a film announced, COVID, podcasting can be murder. It was right before COVID got like really big, and Canada wasn't affected, and we thought, oh, we got all this time, but then we couldn't be together. People moved, and one day I will make that movie. I'm retooling it to do some different stuff, but the general idea I like about it, and we even shot like the opening scene. One day we'll do it, but yeah, and just finally, so with Adrenochrome, as we've said before, once we get into December, January especially, we're gonna be really pumping up. Like, hey, make sure you come check this out. But as I've said before, or at least I said on the stream, the idea is a lot of these places, and we're going to go submit to festivals, see what happens, because you can, build some intrigue there, build some, word of mouth. You never know. Meet somebody, try get on Shutter, stuff like that. Those are the long-term goals. Our goal right now is just make a movie, put it out, and do that, because you can't, hope for the best, right? There's times where, as I've said before, the podcast, when I started it, with everybody 7 years ago or 8 years ago now, I would have never thought at any point would I be have it as a small business or making any money where it's like, oh, I could actually take a day off from work. So it's like, who knows what happens with the film stuff. We have stuff planned, but it's definitely a passion project. But in order for that to happen is you can't do a public screening, and you can't really just have it online or like on YouTube or something. But you can, from what I've seen, the wiggle room for most of them, that we can show it to people, and we can, charge and rent and stuff like that. So that is the plan, where it's going to be January 26th. It's going to be the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And then it's going to be something like our shirts, where, Monday or Tuesday midnight, flip over, you no longer can see it for a certain amount of time. Because then what's going to happen is, after that, we're going to do a festival run for about a whole year. And if something happens, if we find somebody, if we're going to release it a certain way, great, maybe that'll happen. If not, we're just going to release it in our window, where we're going to go, hey, here's the movie, you can buy it, be done. And I think what's going to happen is we're going to do the rental. So you have those 4 days, you could rent it. And we don't know if it's going to be through Venmo or Patreon, because Patreon has this new way of like, you can buy one single thing. So I have to see what it is, but we can't have any of you own the movie, right? And honestly, we're just doing this because, like, luckily, we're thankful. People kept asking, like, oh, when do we get to see something? Oh, I want to see that. And it sucks that, like, we've talked about it, and, we're just trying to, like, you guys are supporting and faithful, so we love that. So we want to give something back, and that's where it's like, okay, we can't have this out in the wild, and it sucks to say, hey, actually, you're not going to see this till 2025, because we want to do the festival run. So that's why this is for the hardcore people. I think we'll probably do like another 30-second teaser, but then after that, there's not going to be much promotion for it. If we do festivals and nothing happens, it's just our movie, then what's going to happen is we're going to do a full release. It'll be somewhere for purchase, and then you're going to get everything, and it's going to be yours. And then that's when we'll market the hell out of that. Lots of fun marketing ideas we have. And then at that point, the difference is, what's going to happen is January 26th to whatever the 31st, that's going to be a rental, where you just rent it like a VOD. After a year, once we do that, we will put it for a purchase, and it'll probably be like a little bit more, but the purchase is going to have commentary track, behind the scenes, and then the bloopers, because I always want to include that. There might be one day it could release on the YouTube channel just to spread the word as like a free thing, and we'll always say that. But the things that are, and even we might include other stuff on there, all the special features and everything, those won't be. Those are always going to be with a purchase. So that's what's going to happen. Is there's going to be a rental right now, and that's going to go away. So that's what's going to happen. Is even if you rented it, you won't be able to watch it again until like another year, because we can't have other people having a copy of it, because some festivals will, disqualify that and say no, that can't happen. So that's going to be the plan, where there's going to be a rental, you can watch it, and then in a year from then you can, buy it for yourself. You can wait to, I don't really need to buy it. I'd like to watch it again if it's free on YouTube. And I'm not saying it's going to happen all the time, but I think with some of them we will, just because we want to be able to make it out there. But that's why we'll make it okay. If you want to purchase this, you're going to look at it. And plus, like, for example, you're going to be renting a movie, and same thing, even like purchasing and stuff like that. You might go, okay, I'll just wait till it's free. You can, but it might not be free on YouTube till like 2 years later. So I'm not saying like, you better get our film. No, it's just if you're interested, that'd be the way, and there'll be some other goodies there. So that's the hope. I think we're on track for it. We're in November, so I think we're on track right now. It's just these ADR scenes I got to figure out. But yeah, I appreciate all the words, kind words. We're really proud of it. Like I said, it's the best we can do, and that means a lot because we are working as hard as possible. But yeah, look out, Adrenochrome. We're going to start promoting a lot more in December, but Adrenochrome, January 26th, a 4-day rental event. Details soon on that, but yeah, that's what you're going to get, and it's a full movie. It's going to be, I think, at least an hour 15 with what it's looking like. So it's not just like, that's the other thing too. It's not a short film where, we expect, pay $10 and watch 10 minutes. No, it's an actual movie. It's going to be cheaper than what you get other VOD or movie theater stuff. So we'd appreciate it if you support us there. And again, all this stuff, it's going to go, like most of our money right now doesn't go into our pockets, goes into the films and stuff like that now. So, yeah, that is the details for Adrenochrome, the first GV movie. It's fun to say out loud. It's a little scary. It means it's closer. There's going to be people seeing it, which also means scary. I'm not ready for that. I think we'll definitely be doing some like exit anonymous surveys, because we of course want people's reviews and stuff, but we'll make it anonymous because I feel like people are a bit more honest that way. So speaking of honesty, that's what I'm gonna do right now. Last topic of the night, Zelda. Oh boy. Okay, let's rip the bandage here. Hey, so there was rumors after Mario that we're going to get a animated Zelda. We don't know if that is the case. I doubt it, because with this news, who knows? But today it came out that oh god, why am I gonna? I don't want to butcher. Oh, why am I forgetting his name? But anyways, the Nintendo president announced that they're working with Avi Arad to work on a live-action Zelda movie with Sony. Westball's gonna be directing, and I can't remember the guy's name. Is like David Connolly or something like that. This is what I worried with Nintendo. I get it. I know lots of you love it. That's fine. With fucking Mario, the anime movie, I think it's like good enough. And that's, to me, what I worry is that they're going to focus on movies that are good enough. And that's why I think that you look at the writer, they go, this guy has written 3, billion-dollar movies, 3 separate billion-dollar movies. That's great. That's what we want for Zelda. We're for the Nintendo's co-financing. Like, I think 50% of it's financing through them. We want that big hit. Okay, I get it. But you look at the list: Rise of Skywalker, the Jurassic World movies. Oh god, there's some other ones in there too that were just like, this is not good. So the writer, not a great sign. The writer, that to me is really bad of who we have right now. I'll try to find it. It's up there in the Discord because I just shared and went, oh fuck. So safety not guaranteed. Oh, safety not guaranteed. Or was that the... No, that's something else. Okay. Pokemon Detective Pikachu. Oh, Monster Trucks. Not good there with the writer. Westball, who knows? People say good things about that first Maze Runner, but I feel like they just say them because, like, yeah, Maze Runner was good. Like, he'll do a good Ace movie. Like, when the first Maze Runner came out, I didn't hear, oh, it's fantastic. And even then, the next two are mixed bag. So we'll see after Apes, but Apes could come out and go, oh shit, if it's disappointing, we got this guy. And then the biggest thing is Avi Arad, which is just, I get it because Marvel Alliance has had Sean O'Connell on, right? And I've only talked to him a couple times. I guess it was just through the vodka stream. Great guy, like him. Sometimes he's gotten some unwarranted shit from some tweets or something. Not like anything bad, but stuff like from DC and everything. Check him out. He has his Snyder Cut book. He has Spider-Man book. He's working on Bruce Bill's book. You know, he's on vodka stream all the time. So good guy. And he had said before, which I try to keep in mind, if people say Avi Arad doesn't get enough credit. And I do agree, but it's kind of, I think, a similar way to Vince McMahon, where thank you for your time. Thank you for what you did and what you gave us and getting us Sam Raimi and Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst and Willem Dafoe believing in that vision and getting us Spider-Man. Yeah, sure, you led us to Venom 3 because you're all about toys, but whatever, you got us there, and that led us to many things, right? And I'm sure with some of the help of him and other, Amy Pascal, No Way Home wouldn't even be possible. I get that. Without Avi Arad, lots of this Marvel stuff might not be around, so I get that. He deserves his flowers. But now is the time to move away. And it's tough because on his producer list, I'll pull it up here, but for the two things that are just like take away Raimi's, or give him Raimi's Spider-Verse, okay, cool. But people always say, oh, and he did that. Fucking 2007 was the last one. That wasn't good. That's when he forced Venom there. That wasn't good. I know some people might be like, well, Sam Raimi should have made it better. Sure, but at the end of the day, he didn't want him in there, right? So you take that out. You got the Amazing Spider-Man films, not good. Dog shit films at time. Not really good at all. Some good performances, some good ideas, but not good. So you got that going on, right? And then people can bring up the MCU stuff or the Spider-Verse stuff. MCU stuff is tough because most people say, oh, that's Feige. And the Spider-Verse stuff is tough because a lot of people go, oh, well, that's Lord Miller. So you have these two successful franchises with Spider-Man that people go, no, it's more this person doing it. Say, oh, okay. And what else you got? Ghost in the Shell. Woof. Venom, Let There Be Carnage. And Venom and Morbius. Woof, woof, woof. And then Uncharted. Meow. I don't know. It's a cat. Uncharted, but this is what I mean. Even if you like Venom and stuff, I don't know. And April, I know you like Venom, so that's where you might be the barometer for this, but I don't think so because even with, what was I gonna say? Someone was thank you post Todd Garner, or sorry, not Todd Garner. What was it? Brandon Talks Movies was post or tagging me in some stuff about Mortal Kombat was actually filming before, and Venom actually did start filming before the strike. Next time, just pop in the YouTube chat because I don't try to look at notifications with while doing the show. But thank you very much for the update on that. So it's good to know. And now we can cast Link with the SAG over. Because April said Wolf about the writers, right? And I know she likes that, so I maybe have to ask her. Maybe next after 9 I will. But I just feel like as much as and lots of people go, I like Venom stuff because it's campy, not taking itself seriously. I think most people that like those movies would agree that is not the vibe we want for Zelda and Link and everything, and Ocarina of Time vibes. We don't want it's so bad, it's so good, it's cheesy, and having a good 80s time. That's not what this movie needs. And I feel like Avi Arad, even Uncharted, which I watched, I just feel like all these have the ingredients for this is going to be a nice solid 6 out of 10. I hope I'm wrong. I know Westball, people have shown this tweet from 2010 where it's like, he's hoping he can direct a Zelda movie, and he is. Great for him. I hope Apes comes out, he fucking kills it, and then I got a little more excitement. With this, he'll have more power. He just deliver a great Apes movie. Let's see it. I really want to believe, and it's not like Zelda's my favorite thing ever, but like I love Nintendo in general, and I do love Zelda. I go in the sense of like I don't play, I haven't even played Tears of the Kingdom because I go, oh, there's other games that I want to put up. It's not like one of my top franchises, but it's something I absolutely love. It's one of my top Nintendo franchises, obviously, but like I love just Nintendo in general. It's a lot like Disney. I grew up with it. And to me, after Mario, Zelda is the way to go. I still would have preferred animation. We're not getting Smash now because I just don't think they would do, oh, Sony, you're going to do live action one. And then with Illumination, we're going to do an animated Zelda. Maybe, but I don't know. Super Mike says it's the Uncharted one that worries me. Fundamental misunderstanding of the games, and that's where for me, I agree with you. I haven't even played the games, but I know enough of them and enough people that love them that tell me about them. And I go, this doesn't match. This is we got the IP. Let's try and do something with it. And it was a very mediocre film, and that's what I worry with this. This is a mediocre film. Sony's very hit or miss with this stuff, you know. So who knows? So I really don't know. I don't know how it's gonna go. I'm not excited. That's the shitty part is for years we've been waiting for Nintendo and or Nintendo and video game movies to start bringing up. We had so many people, and I remember it was Warcraft, Assassin's Creed when the podcast started 2015. That was going to be the start, or 2016. That was going to be the start of the video game genre, and it wasn't. And we've had a lot of hits and a lot of misses, but recently got Mario and Last of Us. But for me, even Mario, to me, it's like that doesn't push the narrative forward. I still think there's enough in there where people go, "Oh, just have a fun time." I get that, but there's still enough beats you could have done to make it even better for just having a fun time. And I feel like now we're gonna get a Zelda movie that finally we could get this huge scope live action Zelda movie. Would prefer animation, but that's fine. I think it can be definitely done in live action. I just wanted to connect to Mario and get Smash Bros and stuff, but still, I think out of all of them, maybe next to Samus and Metroid, that's the one that can be done live action. I just feel like you're gonna get early video game movie fatigue. That stuff's gonna come out and be mid and meh, and people go, whatever. You're of course gonna get people that'll come to the franchise because, oh, I know this and I love this. I grew up with it. Sure, it's the follow up, and who knows? Jurassic World's proved me wrong. The first movie was good to fine, good enough time. Then the second movie is awful. Third movie's not good, but they all made $1 billion and people came, right? And that's where I look at myself and I go, okay, that's where I looked at a stat board and went, okay, this guy Westball, he likes Zelda. He's directed this similar vibe. This guy, he's directed $3 billion things, great. Or like written $3 billion movies there, great. Avi Arad, Spider-Man, Spider-Verse, No Way Home, all the stuff, great. It's just them looking at numbers on board. And I'm sure it will be successful. This is me talking purely because I know so many times I talk about business on this podcast. This is me talking as a fan where now I'm not excited for a Zelda movie, and that fucking sucks. I will not be excited till one, I see Westball kill it with play names. And I mean, he has to kill it. Fucking really kill it. Like Chris Kattan during the Nope skit. He has to kill it. And like I was gonna say see a preview, but that doesn't matter because when I saw the Mario trailer, and I still think Mario's good, it's a fun time, but when I saw the Mario trailer, I thought, oh, this looks special. This looks like they are gonna get, I don't think Pixar level, but just like this is gonna be really like at least a fun time. I don't know about good story, but just like something about the a perfect example. The fucking licensed music in that takes me out and many other people and just ruins the magic. I thought they were going to at least capture the magic of Mario. I think at times they do, but other times they pull it right back. With Zelda, I'm sure I get a trailer like that, but just like we talked about the Echo trailer, that doesn't mean the whole movie's going to be like that, right? So it sucks. I wish I had the excitement for this now. It should be a more excited thing of like, man, even if we're not going to animate, we're going to live action Zelda movie. Here we go. And someone asked like, oh, who would you have it right and stuff like that. I think we're going to probably do with the guys. I'd like to do a fan cast. I'd like to do, a chat GPT. I'd like to do a whole Zelda based episode because it is a big deal and it will be a big review and it will be a big movie. I'm very excited for the idea, but need a hero. I need a hero needle drop in Zelda movie. Oh my God, no, don't do that. I don't think they will, S-Bubs. I think they luckily will keep it to score stuff, but I don't know. Just because I think in an anime movie, like, oh, it's kids, it's a cartoon, let's just draw it back in black. And yeah, I need a hero. Live action, it doesn't play as well, but you never know. Sony's made some terrible fucking ass movies. Every studio has, right? But I just mean some of the ones I've been wanting to be better. So we'll see. Let us know. YouTube, Twitter, Discord, your thoughts about anything I've talked about tonight. I'll be back sometime next week. There should be news, hopefully lots of news. And Trash told you because I definitely want to go over the box office, a lot of other things. But yes, thank you very much for tuning in. When you hear from me next, I promise you it'll not be boring. Have a good night.